All right, we're going to try to do this with Duck. Hopefully he'll mind his own business. He has his own video coming in the near future. So anybody that doesn't know who this handsome fellow is, this is Duck. He's our orphan foal. Unfortunately, we lost his mom. But before I get totally sidetracked, today our lessons looked a little different than what they normally would. The smoke, as you can see behind me, it's really heavy. It's quite nasty from the wildfires that are, some of them are very close to us actually. But instead of pushing through our riding lessons like we normally do, I took it as an opportunity to teach our kids about being aware, and you don't get to be pushy, being aware of their horses, reading their horses, and how to slow down and pay attention to those signs that they should be aware of. It was a reminder to me that one of the most important parts of horsemanship is being aware and listening to our horses. So I took it as an opportunity to start to teach my lesson crew those things: when to push, when to listen, and when not to push. So let's talk about riding when it's smoky, something we often encounter here in BC, Canada. He's going to be so much fun through this video. We have wildfires every year. This year is very smoky, and one of the fires is very close to us. The Felker fire, if you want to look that up, is quite close to us. But we are working around it, and I feel raindrops as I'm filming this, and I hope that it just downpours and helps our firefighters. Don't be cheeky. Our firefighters deal with fire. So horses are often affected by the smoke just like we are. They breathe the same air as us. Obviously, there's nothing special. They don't have a special filtration system. They don't have anything cool like that. I wish they did. They also can't go in the AC like we can. We can't go put them in filtration. Don't turn your butt. They can't go hide in filtration systems like we can. And they have massive lungs. They have lungs that are way bigger than ours. So the quantity of air that they are breathing in relation to us it's just bigger. There's nothing we can do about that. The harder they work, obviously, the more smoke they're bringing into their lungs. Even healthy horses experience irritated airways, can take longer to recover in smoky conditions. Horses with respiratory conditions, like poor Risky, our old guy, has respiratory issues. He really struggles with the smoke, and he really struggles with the heat. So we really have to keep an eye on him. Oh my God, it's raining and it's making me so happy. Anyways, so if the smoke is affecting their lungs, what are some things we should actually be watching for in our horses to help us decide whether or not we should be riding, whether or not we should maybe change our riding plans, maybe do some in-hand work, maybe just take an easier ride, those kinds of things. So before you ride, things you should watch for is your horse acting more lethargic or lower energy than normal. Coughing is a huge red flag. Nasal discharge is another one. It's really common with the smoky air. It's their way of their body clearing things out. Faster respiratory rate is another one to really watch for. During your ride, watch for them getting tired more rapidly than normal. Maybe they don't want to move out and they're not really interested in doing work. They just want to hang out and chill. Heavier breathing, coughing, perspiration, sweating more than normal. It is harder for their bodies to work efficiently if they're struggling to breathe. They are going to need more frequent breaks. All right, I had to re-record most of this video because of my speaker. It cut out. So we will be re-recording this half, but I didn't want to get rid of Duck's antics in the beginning. He is eating dinner, so I don't think he'll disturb us as much this time, unfortunately. So I wanted to keep the bit of him being him in the first half. So we talked about what to look for before your ride, during your ride, and now we'll talk about after. So after you've ridden, you want to make sure that your horse's respiratory rate recovers well. It probably won't recover as well as it normally does, but you want to make sure that their respiration does come back down to normal fairly rapidly. If they seem like they're really struggling after the ride to recover, or they just seem lethargic, not quite feeling right, not themselves, that's another thing to watch for. If we see any of these signs, we should contact our vet. They have things that they can give your horse to help them with their lungs and help them deal with the smoke a little bit better. Our horses can't tell us if they don't feel great. They communicate through changes in behavior, and it's our job to be aware of those changes and watch for those changes and to listen to our horses. Dog's barking. Don't forget about the rider as well. We oftentimes think so much about our horses that we forget about us. We are also breathing in the heavy smoke. Watch for things like headaches, burning eyes, scratchy throats, feeling tired. Trouble taking in a deep breath is a big one. Feeling dizzy, difficulty concentrating. Watch for those signs in yourself or your children. We become stiffer, less patient, and slower to react. This affects our horses. They can feel us on top of them. They can feel that we're not quite right. It puts another load on them to worry about. So always think about how you're feeling and how that's going to affect your horse as well. Adjusting the plan is not giving up. Today's lesson, for example, did not look anything like our previous lessons this month have looked like. Instead of focusing on trot sets, canter work, and challenging exercises, we focused on walking, lateral work, lots of breaks, observation, and listening to our horses. So I had the girls stop in a group and watch each other's horses breathe and see which horse they felt was recovering the best and which horse was maybe struggling a little bit more, which was a big eye-opener for them. It wasn't the horse that they expected would struggle sooner. Not that the horses were struggling, but we were just watching for those early signs of a higher respiration rate, nasal discharge, and things like that. It was really good for them to stop and slow the riding down and try to listen to their horses more. They were watching for each other's horses getting tired sooner than normal, or their own horse maybe feeling not quite as lively as they normally were. It wasn't a wasted lesson. Actually, I feel like it was probably one of the best lessons for the kids because of the reasons that I listed before. They got to pay attention to their horses in ways that they maybe hadn't before. I tell my students all the time that good riders make horses do things, but great horsemen know when to not ask and to listen to their horses. Real horsemanship means adjusting expectations, reading your horse, reading yourself, making decisions that protect your partnership. The whole reason we are out here being horsemen is because we love the horses. So we need to do our job to advocate for the horses. Side note, I don't know if you can tell the raining has stopped. I'm not even sure if it was raining in the first half of the video that I filmed earlier, but the raining has stopped and I can see pieces of ash falling now. So you can see around me just how smoky it is. I think that it's probably gotten more smoky, and it usually kind of settles in over the evening, and then nighttime when it cools down, everything settles and the air clears up, and then early morning is probably our best air. Duck's going to be visiting here in a second. If you're dealing with wildfire smoke where you live, remember that there's absolutely nothing wrong with changing the plan. Sometimes the best ride you'll ever have is the one where you chose your horse and your partnership over your own agenda. Sometimes the best time we spend with our horses isn't even the time we spend in the saddle. It's the grooming, and maybe we go for a quiet walk down the driveway and let our horses nibble on grass. Maybe we do something totally different, and it's those things that will really help your bond with your horse. Because at the end of the day, horsemanship isn't measured by how hard you rode. It's measured by how well you cared for your equine partner. They are the reason, like I said before, that we're here. They're the reason that we're doing what we're doing. Little side note, Mad Barn has a fantastic air quality index. It has helped me help others understand the conditions our horses and ourselves are experiencing. It has clear levels on its index as to what we probably should be expecting out of our horses. So whether or not we should be looking at downgrading how hard we work our horses, or maybe adjusting our plan, or maybe it's so bad that we should not be riding at all. I will insert a clip of me opening the app and showing our air quality so you can, sorry, it's not an app, it's a website. Opening it up so you can see it. I really love it. I use it every day right now. I post on our lesson page at 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. depending on what the air quality is, whether or not we'll be adjusting lessons or whether or not we'll be postponing or canceling lessons depending on the air quality. So it's a really fantastic tool, and it really gives me the ability to kind of give clarity on why we're doing the things that we're doing, whether it's canceling lessons, doing in-hand lessons, or only doing walk lessons. It gives me the ability to show parents and students why we've made those adjustments. So thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to share your tips and tricks for smoky air conditions. I feel like we all have little tips and tricks that I told you he would come back. We all have little tips and tricks that we use to help our horses cope with the smoke. Some of us have been lucky enough to never experience this. It's crazy. The fires are quite close to us right now, so we're not on alert or evacuation at this point, and I hope that we will not be. But it's really not very far from us. And a reminder that there's no shame in skipping the ride altogether for our equine partners' well-being and our own well-being. There's no shame in deciding that we want to skip riding for now until the weather improves. You're still going to have the opportunities to enjoy your horses and do other things with them. And there's no point in jeopardizing the longevity of your equine partner or yourself because we wanted to chase dreams and goals. As hard as it is to admit, those dreams and goals will still be with us. They might have to readjust a little bit, but there's no shame in putting things off. And Duck would like to say thank you for watching. I'm glad he joined us in the second half of this video. He wants to eat my paper. As you can see, he has the dirtiest face because he is a good little eater. But thank you again for joining us. I hope this video was helpful to someone. And we'll see you in the next one. Maybe starring Duck. Hey, you want your own video? All about Duck? You're such a goof. Okay.